All right, let's just do it. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Danny Rosenthal. I'm the Director of Community at Enginehire, which allows me to do such things as this webinar, talk to everybody, kind of put my fingers all over Enginehire. So if you ever have any questions, you can absolutely feel free to reach out to me. Um, Today we're going to talk about what everybody loves talking about lately, and what I love using a ton is AI, and not just any AI, but AI that's actually built into Enginehire. And if we have time left over, because there's a bunch of these, and I would love to get into as many of them as possible, I'll tell you a couple other cool things that I know of. And if we don't get to that, what I will do is I will throw this crazy idea and thing that I really love doing. Now I've amped it up a bunch, but I will throw it in the community inside Enginehire so you can all read that as well. Great. So I'm already starting inside of a profile right now, just to speed things along. So I'm in a fake profile in my fake demo account of Jennifer. It's nobody. But the first thing is first is the AI assist, which we've had for a long time. But I want to touch on it not just because it's there and it's AI, but because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can change this text to be something else that you want from the prompt. So you can just, adjust it as you want. And what I'm going to do in this case is toss in a prompt that I've already created of, to expand on this. And I thought it was fun to say it in Old English. As I was doing all of this prep work on this, I thought it's fun to be silly, but then I also thought it's probably more valuable to do real things. So I tried to do a mix. As you can see, it took what's actually there and then generated it into a older English sounding thing. We could even go further into that, but that wouldn't make any sense. But so I'm just going to say yes, and it'll replace your old text. What I do like doing before I do anything like that ever is to actually save what I had written before, so I don't just replace it and go, oh no, what was it? So I always try to do that. Okay, so we got that one thing done. That's all over the place. If there's ever any text you want to change, you can do that. That's not available to candidates or clients to touch. It's only an admin feature. So when you're brushing up, profiles and language, that's available to you. Another thing with this, because it's like right there, we hit cancel out of this. But you know what? We will save it. We'll save it. Is right over here is this generate AI summary. So you'll find these all over the place, actually. Um, this little star and its two other star friends are great indicators that AI is there. There's actually a couple other icons that you can look out for as well. But section by section, you can generate summaries on those sections, which the value to that could be in trying to digest a lot of information and then share it better to someone that you might want to send that information to. So instead of reading every section all over the place every time, it might be easier for you to just get a quick summary of it. Go, yep, these are the key points I want to talk to when I'm talking to a client later about this candidate and this area about them. So you'll also notice, and I already feel like I'm kind of going at this through a lightning speed, so I will try to slow down as much as possible. But there's this thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. This actually goes to our team. So if you thumbs it up, it's like, yeah, this was a good response. I liked it. If you thumbs it down, you're like, oh, this is clearly terrible. And if you give us some information about like, hey, it didn't go deep enough into parts of this, or whatever you think is helpful for our team in developing this more, put it in there. It goes right to our teams. This is like skipping over support and goes directly to the people working on the AI information. let's keep going. So similar to that, if you were to go to the top of this profile, there is that little star and its two star friends again, and you could generate a summary for the entire profile. So now we're not just going, um, you know, section by section. It's just giving us a really broad overview of all of this. Again, you could use the AI assist to make it sound nicer. You copy it into your notes later. Copy it per usual. Put it somewhere that you might need it for later. Maybe you go in and you put it in your notes for later, so you can keep that when like talking to a client. You'd be like, come up with a new tag that'd be like clients, info to share with a client. That's probably a really bad, weird way to do that. Why? Thank you. I got there.
Mina?
Yeah, and then there we go. We'll add that note just so I have it now, again, as we've been doing this. A little star, there's two star friends, another summary of the notes, of the admin notes now that you have over there. So it gives me these. I'm going to be like, not actually click either of these because I don't want to confuse anyone since I'm not really reading these notes, but they're there. These summaries are all over the place. I guess what I would like to point out and touch on these a little bit is when there's something that exists in one area of Enginehire like this, it's not the easiest thing ever. But as far as development goes, it's relatively easy for the team to go, oh, there's a lot of infrastructure here on creating these summaries. We can make a summary of X, Y, and Z as well. So if there's another place where you're like, this should be here, let us know. Okay, now let me think about where we want to go to next in all of this. Well, let me skip ahead to one of my favorite things and what really kicked off a lot about all of this AI development all over the place. Actually, I want to go into advanced templates. So profile templates. This is one of the things that people reach out to support a lot about, because the profile templates, it's that area right at the top of all of the profiles. And it's like your number one place to show off your branding, make it your own platform in every way. And there's ways to do that already. So if you went in, and I'll just go like, this one's from the webinar. You go to profile header, you click that it's for the candidates. You could make it for clients. You could decide what user types it is. You could decide what status that they're at when this works. And there's templates in here already that you could like work on and change small things to. But if you do create template from scratch, there's this other designer in here, which we're actually not going to go into. But it's there for you to design things in more of like a block format. It could pull in an image section, you could throw in a title section, you can put in all sorts of things and design it the way you want. That still took a lot of effort and not really fun to do. That's just not a place where you want to spend a lot of your time. So what we did was this. We have this generate with AI, so you can share more about your brand, what you would love for this to look like, as much as you can think about. What is really important when using this feature is to share the pieces of the profiles you want in there. So the skills or the education or the work history of this candidate, anything that you want in there that's already in a profile, make sure that you add that to here so it knows where to pull that from. And that's one of the really, really, really cool pieces about this is when you type in that stuff, it's not just going to put in like a placeholder for it and you have to figure out how to connect it later. It's actually going to go, oh, here's this profile piece, and it's going to pull that information in from wherever that's supposed to go. So I had created a really simple just prompt for this, and we'll see how fast it can create it this time. Test it for us to see it working. Oh, maternal instincts. Wow, you're really coming for me in such a friendly, fun way. And yes, there will be a recording of this. We will put this on YouTube ASAP, and we'll send out an email about this. So here's a version of what it created for me, which is pretty cool in the first place. I'm not totally loving this, so I could, share more of what I'm looking for and have it do more. One of the things that I think is really cool about this is I was able to say, hey, I want it to be a 70% transparent and have a background image in it. So then it created this foresty background, which I asked for. So you can keep, creating these as you go. I would save them if there's one that you like. So because it's AI and it's not going to create it again exactly the way that it created it before, because that's just how AI is. But I think that this is really helpful, really cool, a lot of fun, and should get you in as quick as I was able to type in this type of prompt and hit create. You'll have something cool and unique to your agency. You can also upload a reference image. I asked that this be added in because I know a lot of people have something that they've previously used, have had a really amazing idea that they've used or wanted to use, created something in Canva that's as close to their idea as possible. So now you could also put in a reference image and just play with this. Again, if there is something that it's not totally doing the way that you want it to, part of that might be AI, but part of that might be something that we can still adjust. So again, reach out to support if there's something that you see missing from this, or again, just if there's something that you're like, this isn't totally what I'm looking for. Can it maybe do this? Maybe it can. So let us know. All right, so I'm not going to grade that one. I have other ones that I have liked. I guess let me show you. See if there's this one. This is just like general. Another one that I had created. I actually told this one to be like a lot more fun when I created it. Let's see what this one was. This one also had a foresty background. I'm kind of into the foresty backgrounds. But yeah, just another way for you to try and use AI. I really like this one because again, it pushes your brand forward in all of this. So from there, let's go into global settings, and we can make a new badge. I know that these are all over the place, but they kind of just are all over the place. We're trying to put in as many helpful features as we can. So if we start creating a new badge, top performer is there. Okay. What I came up with ahead of time was not that unique. I wrote in 10 years experience. And now again, the little star and his 2-star friends come up, and hopefully we get a 10 years experience badge. This says it could take a minute or two, so I'm not gonna wait on this forever. But while it's doing that, I'm just gonna say, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw them in the chat. I, at the beginning, wasn't so sure on how great I'd be able to keep my eye on it, but I'm doing a pretty good job. Yeah, we're not gonna wait too much longer on this badge itself. So I'm gonna click out of it and show you the one that I created last time. It was this. These are all badges that I previously created, again, just for funsies. But here is one that, like, what it could do that way. And you can refine these as you go. I'm not sure each time it makes one, it'll be the same theme for your agency. It should be able to do a reiteration. So if you're like, and you know what, I'll show you where it should be able to reiterate. Let's go to placements. Jenna, good question. So we go down to one of your placements. You've had a full-time placement. There's a generate post for Instagram. This one, you can have it, this one I know for sure does the, where you can ask it to enhance it later. So I like, when I'm doing this, I'm not running an agency. So I like to push these like as far as they can go and see what it can do and where it doesn't work. So I put in, to me, a crazy one of a futuristic nanny that's photorealistic. Um, and yeah, hoping that it creates something crazy and fun that I absolutely love. What version of AI do you have run in the background? Does the agency get to get charged per token when prompting? Uh, Really great question, Quinn. Um, we have several different types of AIs that we use for different things, and sometimes we switch them out for a different one. So it could be ever changing. Uh, it's probably not, I would say, from off the top of my head, of the last time that I checked on this, it was the highest 5 point whatever was the most recent of ChatGPT. But again, like the images, I think they get made from a different one, so it could be pulled from all over the place. Right now, no one is charged for anything AI. We're just taking all of that ourselves. In the future, that might change, and that might be a credit system involved with that, depending on how much all of these get used and all sorts of things like that, right? But for right now, no, you can just use this, no charge for anything. I know, as you probably know, Quinn, of why you asked that. In a lot of other softwares, you get charged for a certain credit amount for using an AI feature, which makes a lot of sense because that's how it just works down the way. But in Enginehire right now, we're not doing any of that. There's no infrastructure in place to charge you for that. Yeah. And okay, so if you wanted to use this image, you download this image. You could create a new image, copy the text from here if you did want to make it as an Instagram post. And again, thumbs it up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't like it. Give us a comment on if there is something that you thought it could be doing that it's not doing. This is very similar to if you were inside of a profile, you can have it do a very similar thing of make the image for you to replace the non-image that's there, like the photo bank area. You could have it create one for you. It's the exact same thing as making this, as using the Instagram feature version of it. And to keep us moving along, I'll skip that and we'll come back and I'll show you that if needed. Great. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, let's dive into email templates. Email templates, a lot of these, email templates is a great example of how things are getting iterated and reiterated and enhanced, and things get moved all over the place, and ideas come together even better. So let's see. I have a prompt for this already. So let's find the best one for this. Generate. Not bad. Sorry, give me a second. I want to just do this really well. Yeah, well, we'll just take this one. So let's call this blank because I have no reason not to. And generate image template using, generate the email. So this one is kind of like the one that kind of takes over for a bunch of other AI pieces in the generate emails. This is like a great example of like it's just giving you some prompts that you could try, but you could do like, you know, create reply uh reminder, probably better. Email for candidates that uh that have applied. Let me see if anything and do write it out. Mars. I did this for me before, and it came up with quite a great uh, email template for me. It was exactly like how I think Bruno Mars would sing it. But again, I try to push these a little bit further than maybe you ever would push them. Let me see. I'm trying to look back at the questions now. Um, Great. Okay, so it made it. It knew it was for a candidate. It knew it should be a status reminder. Uh, go over to the uh, content. Okay, and it created a formula like this, which I don't like this at all. So instead, I will. I mean, it did use the words, but I don't like any of this part. So I would do it probably again. Or now this one here is exactly just for creating the body of it. So let's say you already knew all the other triggers, everything you had put in the right place exactly the way you wanted everything else to go, and you just wanted it to create like a better body for it. So again, it'd be like, um, thank you for applying. Email to candidates. Very. And create newsletter for in Enginehire. Not kind of would be the answer on can AI create a newsletter for you. What I would do is I would do that. Right. So it's pulling pieces from this. It's being really nice, as nice as possible. I don't know. I guess as nice as possible. But again, it's just doing a bunch of guesses on all of this and trying to make something fun for you that works well or gets you at least closer. You know, I think of AI all the time as being something to get you, you know, 70, 80% of the way there so you don't have to spend all of that time doing all of that. There's AI right here, so you can get a better subject line if that's something that you need. Already has one in here. I don't need to do it, but you could, you know, yeah, let's do it. What would you like? Yeah, make it so that it optimizes open rates. That's actually probably way better. Let's get it to optimize open rates. Yeah, that's probably gonna, people are probably gonna open it up if it says important. Probably don't need that in there. And get us to it. Not like that. Don't need that. So you can see how this could bring you closer to what you're looking for in the first place. What I was going to say about making a newsletter is you can kind of, and why I say kind of, is you can hit ask ChatGPT um, and about something else, not Enginehire related, uh, and you know, be like, write me a newsletter. Uh, I'm not going to do this right now because I have no idea what I might else put in there, but you could do it here. So this is just using ChatGPT, but not within ChatGPT. It's just using it in here under Enginehire's ChatGPT, which I guess might save you paying for like the higher levels, but again, not getting to do any of the other fun, fancy things that are in, you know, just ChatGPT when you have your own account there. So you can have it do that. And then what I truly like doing in ChatGPT is then having it write the code for me. So I'd be like, yes, this is the best newsletter I've ever had AI make. Copy that and be like, now put it in, now code it in HTML. And here's what's kind of cool about that. If we're already in email templates, uh, newsletter. I go over here. Yep, don't need anything there. Is there's this code. You'll see this all over the place. This is a rich text editor box. So that means that all of this is available. There's an insert HTML code. And so you could then take that code and put it in here, hit submit. Um, and I have gotten really great results doing things like that, of being like, take this newsletter information, make it into a very sleek and modern newsletter that people will skim or people will read fully, or has buttons that people will click and sends them to here and here and here. Or, you just tell it as much as you possibly can think of. The more you tell AI, the better. And yeah, and so that is possibly a way that could help you write a newsletter in here. It's something that I've had a lot of success doing before with previous other types of prompts. Uh, so let's keep it moving. Let me go into candidates. And so a couple cool things here. I know that this candidate has a resume. So I'm going to go over to the resume area, or the part where I'd interview them, I suppose, is probably better. Again, there's the star and his two-star friends. And if I click this, it'll generate questions based on the resume. So that could be helpful in knowing more about what you want to ask them, just, initially or at any point. This is weird things that I had put in my fake resume for this. So there's that. That is there to just help you with that. Another thing that I think is enormously cool is there's this phone transcript part. So you could choose, okay, it'll fill in an interview section, and I will choose it to be, there you go, fake demo phone transcript. And it will map it out to places that it's supposed to be. So interview section, date, time, position. It took all of this information that was in the in the phone transcript, and it put it in the places that it thinks it should go. The more clear that you ask these questions, or like information that you put into it, so the more it's going to know, but it'll do its best guess. If you're not asking, straight availability and schedule part on the phone, and you're saying other stuff, it's going to find pieces that are the weekends and information and try to put it in as best possible. Similarly, you could have it digest handwritten notes. Desktop. Oh yeah, okay. So, oh yeah. So this is a really terrible handwritten note. And I'm gonna put it in there, and it will show me what it got from it. So you'll see, yeah. So it figured all of that out. Great, and I could copy this. The next part of this that is currently, as of recording this today, January 15th, the next part that's very much like the phone transcript area is in staging right now. It would be able to take these pieces and do the exact same thing of putting the information in the sections that it's supposed to go to. So for those, home care agencies that they go and do an intake in person to create a care plan, everything's been handwritten down. Now you can just take a photo of your notes, put it in there, and let it go and fill out all of the sections. that it is supposed to go into. And then these sections, of course, can connect to other sections that might be in a profile and fill out that profile then, all from your handwritten notes that you've let AI, take the lead on as far as it can go. I'm gonna keep moving. Uh, so let's go to global settings. And there's a couple cool things right here where there's an analyze document and analyze document with spreadsheet. So this one would be a spreadsheet that you might throw in and have analyzed. This one would be any other type of document. So let me grab one from my home screen. Okay, so this is a fake service agreement that I've put in here. So I'm having that analyzed. We'll see how long it takes to do that. Yeah, okay. So it took all of this stuff, put it over here. Yep, came up with some cool things that I might want to copy and keep somewhere else. Add in a different one, start over. All of this just trying to get you where you need to be further and faster. If I copy this and we go here, so new page, really similar thing. I'm going to put in the service agreement again. Let's see, same service agreement. Yep. And see if it comes up with something else, something better, something more attuned. These ones are in here because these things, it's been the prompt in the background of this understands all of the pieces of these types of documents. So it can tell you what's going on in here. So you'd be like, oh, what is two note things? And it's like, oh, this has not been in here. This is not in here. Again, this one is much more for like at a glance of trying to help. Does anybody have any questions? They like, I know that there's a few in here as I'm looking for other things that we might want to touch on. Let's keep going. One of the things which I found helpful and cool, again, a summary would be in the notes section of just taking a summary of all of the notes that you might have had for your candidate, or client, or anything like that. Let me try to tackle some of these questions. Sorry. What version do I have? Sit down. You talk about how Enginehire protects candidate client data and isn't trained the AI brain on confidential information. I can't talk too much about that, except for that the data you put in here isn't training the AI. It's just digesting it. If you think of it more as sharing the information with a prompt and then having the prompt to do it, just kind of like what I guess actually really in here, it'd be a great idea because, imagine just me like copying this and putting it into any chat and just saying like, hey, summarize this for me. It's not really teaching it anything. It already knows how to make a summary. It's just summarizing it. So like the information isn't going anywhere that's helping in some other mastermind way. If you're working with a very high profile client or candidate, if there was such a thing, that information is not going to then later appear in ChatGPT or in Gemini if somebody figured it out because you've trained it by sharing in, a celebrity's information in any of these AI places. Where it's like so-and-so's address, and then I go and ChatGPT later, and I'm like, where does so-and-so live? It's like, oh, and it won't do any of those circles around there. Let me know if you have more questions about that. What is the future of AI in Enginehire on things I thought of? that can be helpful for our recruitment team is possibly having AI scan, review a profile, and pitch jobs or roles to that. That's a great question. So there's a couple pieces in there that maybe this will help with. Quinn is um, one, you could do this where there is the um, summary of the entire profile. That might help just in, you know, for me, in my mind of this, it's that place where you're about to talk to a client about a candidate and it just summarizes some of the key points. So you're totally on point when you're having that conversation. Uh, Another place that could be good for this would be in one of the jobs, if we view the applicants, uh, well, I think I already tested it out on this one. Let me do it with a different one. If it's not in there, you'll know why in 2 seconds. Okay, so I have these applicants in here. And so if I select them all, it's going to do to analyze the best match with what the candidate's qualities are and what is written in the job description. So it's just analyzing for, it tops out at 100, so try to narrow it down to under 100 candidates. And then it comes up with the notes and the score match. So it says, oh, Jennifer is 90% match, and this is why. In the future, to me, the next part about this would be the iteration of this, where you go, hey, I love that she has 17 years experience in high profile households. Tell me more about that, because that's going to be really helpful to me when I'm actually figuring out who I want to talk to. These notes and information stay in this section, so you or your team member, like, it doesn't go away and you have to always hit analyze the AI or analyze the profiles. What it is doing here is it's going through all of the sections in your candidate's profile, going through their types and tags and location and information like that. If for some reason, and I know that this happened early on, you have a X, Y, and Z role. From what I remember of what happened, someone put in a newborn care specialist role, and they got someone that was like a 95% match, and then that person had no experience with babies, so that would be like a terrible match. So if you come up with any of those things, if any of that happens, like, let us know so we can keep iterating. Like, why did it do that? And think that that was like a good match. Um, uh, it As of right now, I see you asking Diana if it does the notes. It does not do the notes as of yet, but that is a part that I did recognize is something that we would all want to be part of this. So soon it will. I say soon. I don't know how soon, but it is on the roadmap. I've spoken with the person that does most of the AI development for this. Totally understands, and I'm not sure at what point that's on like the roadmap for when that would be deployed. But some of this stuff is getting turned around really, really fast, just because we have this person developing mostly 90% of the time just the AI features. So those are, keep coming up, very quality, very usable, as readily as available as possible. Just like that match, that's with the applicants. You have the ability to do basically the same thing, but it goes with all of your candidates. Similarly, 100 or less candidates, so you'll filter by all of these things, but it does the same thing. It will just do that exact same thing of having the analysts, the percentage of why they're so close of a match, and help you do that. So, you'll have your applicants, and maybe those ones are in there because they already applied or you put them in there. This one would go into the realm of who should you put in as an applicant or be thinking about, or maybe reach out to again about this. Let me see. me just think of if there's anything else we haven't hit on yet. Oh, a couple of the reports. So get insights. It's going to look at the last 30 days and just show you some information about that. Since this is fake, it might not have a lot of information for me on that. But yeah, okay. So last week, because I was preparing for this, I threw in a couple rolls, and yeah, okay. So that's some great stuff. Okay, 30 days, last 90 days. That's great. Very similar in shifts. There's the run analyst, and that does only the last 30 days. I was confused there for a moment. Sorry about that. 30 days from today would be the 17th. And you could do, who has the, which client has the most. What I like about this one is that you can put in whatever and it'll try to pull up that information. Yeah, James Monroe has 13 bookings, which is accurate because I have James Monroe in here all of the time. Yeah, so that is like a giant overview of a lot of the AI pieces that are in Enginehire. There is one more that I can think of that would be in the app. If you have the Enginehire branded app, sorry, that's confusing. If you have the branded app for your company, one of the things is AI customization, and there's this one spot in here for keywords, which is really important for SEO and where you might come up in the app stores. So if I'm looking for a home care provider in the Chicagoland area, if you also have, if your company is in the Chicagoland area, you would come up because it's going to analyze information that's in other parts of this app area. So it would know like location. It would know, it's coming up with crazy things because there's only crazy things put in here. But it would come up with the keywords that the team should be utilizing to come up with a great place for your app to rank really highly. If you're an nanny agency, it's probably going to pull nanny agency. If you're a home care agency, it's probably going to pull home care. That is all of the AI pieces that I could think of to share with you at this point. Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. Thumbs up to everybody. Yeah, have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you hopefully at our next webinar. Bye, everybody.